Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Style Your Life with Crisha. My name is Crisha Bowen, also known as the Giant Slayer, and my main mission is to help you to push past pain and to passionately pursue purpose. My life's mission is to influence thought to change behavior, and Style Your Life with Crisha is all about us having the lifestyle not only of our dreams but the life that we actually live. I believe you should live the life that you love and love the life that you live, and in order to do that there are some specific ingredients that you need to have in your life to enjoy your life. One of those ingredients is relationships, and there's a saying that says that your network determines your net worth, and I really believe that the value of our life is based on the quality of our relationships. Today we have a special guest. She's a doctor. This is her specialty, and I love to see people walk in their lane and do what they were purposed to do. I am purpose to live in purpose, so of course I'm bringing the experts to you to talk about you and to give you the tips about the ingredients that you need to style your life. So we have Dr. Crystal Benjamin, who is going to be joining us, and she is going to be talking about the importance of relationship and how to style your lives in terms of relationships. We can all say that we have made a few mistakes as it comes to both romantic relationships and just normal friendships. Anybody here who could say, well, yeah, I made a few mistakes, and we could of course all do better in terms of the quality of our relationships, attracting the relationships that we need to push and to propel us to the future, and then really having a better quality of life, but of course it's based on the quality of our relationships. So I am so excited today for her to share with us and even to share with me most of the friends that I've known since I've been in high school, since I've been in college, and even though we may not speak every day, we still have a quality friendship just based on the foundation that the relationship has. So I know a lot of people talk about, little things that they have with relationship, and I want Crystal today to share with us some tools, some tips, even some examples based on her experience and her expertise on relationships. I heard someone say that we love to say that iron sharpens iron, which of course we do know. But when iron sharpens iron, if you think about two pieces of iron hitting against each other, it creates sparks. And he was saying when iron hits iron, we have to expect that it's going to create friction. We have to expect that it's going to create some type of sparks. So we love to say that iron sharpens iron, and we want to be sharp. But we don't expect the friction that comes with relationship. We don't expect the disagreements. We don't expect the negative energy that comes. We don't expect, I agree, you don't agree. We don't expect compromise. There are certain things that we don't expect when it comes to relationships. So even though iron sharpens iron, think about when iron hits iron, there's going to be some sparks. And it is in the friction, it is in the rubbing against each other that truly we see that development beginning to happen. We begin to see that growth. We begin to see that we evolve into the individuals that we were really designed to be. So I'm going to see if I can pull Crystal in here so that she can join in. Okay, so I see she's not live with us yet, so I'm gonna wait for her to come in so that she can come on with us and share this type of information. But I'm just gonna share based on my experience and wait for the experts to do what the experts do. I remember having this conversation with her on Instagram about a month ago, and people always tell you that your standards are too high, or that you expect too much. And I was asking her if there is such a thing as your standards are too high. Okay, so I see she's on. Let me pull her in. Yes. I was asking her if there's such a thing as your standards being too high. Hey, Crystal.
Hey. Hi, Crisha. Hi, everybody.
Patiently for you.
Yeah, I was looking, I don't know.
I'm gonna let the experts do what the experts do. So I'm gonna invite Crystal to introduce herself and just to talk about styling your life with relationships.
Nice. Crisha, thank you so much for this opportunity. Hello to everyone who is locked on. So I am Crystal Benjamin, or Dr. Crystal Benjamin, the relationship educator and coach. And I basically teach how relationships work. And I work with couples, so I do premarital work. There's an assessment that I am a certified facilitator of, and it's called SYMBIS, which is Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. And that really helps couples, married couples, engaged couples, and even couples who are committed to really look at their relationship based on a number of different areas. For example, finances, love, in-laws, etc. And it's really, really helpful, very robust, and it's exciting to see the results that we get from couples. So that's basically the couples work there. But I also work with singles. I mean, I work with persons recovering from, yeah, I work with singles, because the thing about relationships is that the foundation of any like romantic relationship or even business relationship is that friendship, is that trust, is that mutual respect and that kind of thing. So that works for any type of relationship, really.
Yes.
So I work with singles as well, helping to recover from situationships or relationships that may have been really negative, and also just working on self-esteem and goals regarding yourself, because you really need to start with yourself before you could really get into healthy relationships. So that's just me in a nutshell.
I was sharing with the viewers before you came on that we had a dialogue maybe about a month or so, because I always hear people telling me, oh, my standards are too high, your expectations are too high. And I know
Yeah.
that opened up a whole discussion, even us doing a live sequence on Instagram that people loved. So I want to bring that here into this forum and share with our viewers, women who are like me, who may be hearing, oh, your standards are too high, and hearing about settling and compromise. I want you to share your views in terms of that particular topic.
Yeah, great, Krisha. By the way, that was such an excellent experience. The whole Instagram live piece was beautiful. Regarding that, that's what I went through also. I recently got married in August, and I went to school for 10 years straight, and people were saying, when would you ever get married and that type of thing.
Right.
So I know firsthand about that. It's like, oh, your standards too high, you feel it and all that. I know about that firsthand. And from my own experience and what happened, what I dealt with is really, because there were times when I was wondering, oh, is my standards really too high or whatnot?
Right.
And yeah, but I think this is a perfect forum to talk about it, because most of us in here, if not all of us, really see merit in purpose. And to me, that's the foundation. It's really about
I love
you
it.
working, yeah, it's you working on you and pursuing your purpose. Because interesting, I met my husband while I was at a networking event, and I was one of the speakers, and he was there, and that's how we met each other. So I was literally pursuing my purpose when I met my husband. Very interesting. So
Wow.
it's very
Wow.
applicable to
So,
this whole
so
group.
before you continue, right? Did he approach
Hmm.
you? Like, how did that go down? I want to know, and the viewers want to know.
Yeah. That's in my book. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I could share. So, it's interesting. Yeah, he approached me, right? So I came down, and that whole story is so interesting, by the way, because I didn't want to speak and whatnot. It's really telling that you should pursue your purpose and you should show up, because you never know what that moment might lead to. That is literally my experience from then, because I didn't want to go. So I went, I did my thing. I was very transparent, very myself. And he came up to me afterwards and was like, you sound like this radio personality, whoever it was, I don't know. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's his line. um, but yeah, he came up after and we were talking about the content that I was presenting, and we really got into that. And through the conversation, I recognized that we could talk and we could really rapport, and because that was really important to me. So yeah, it's really about pursuing your purpose, and that piece of the puzzle will fit in. I tell people, if you have this desire to get married and you see no one in sight, which was my story. I saw no one in
Right.
sight. Um, Continue doing what you do, continue showing up, and in time, that piece of the puzzle will fit in.
Come
Once you're doing
together.
your part,
Mm-hmm.
and you also pray for him, like I prayed for my partner even before I met him, prayed for whoever it would be, for him to be pursuing his purpose too. I didn't use that language, but now I could, right? Because I have that lovely language. But I was just praying that he would be doing well and he would also be following the path that he should be following in terms of Christ and all that. So, yeah, so in terms of settling and compromising, I tell people, um, settling is never okay. Don't settle. Don't settle, because settling, I conceptualize that as, lowering your values, lowering your standards, and just taking whatever
Mm,
comes to you. That's how I
mm,
see settling. In terms of compromise, a bit of that is needed in relationships because it's two different people coming from two different backgrounds and experiences. And, there are some times when you need to do a give or take. So, for example, I do not like the beach. Like, I like the beach, but not really. It's weird.
and we live on an island,
So,
right? When I tell people, like, I don't
I,
go to the beach, I don't do.
right? I don't. But he's like, he loves the beach. Oh my goodness, he loves the beach, right? So, um, sometimes I would go to the beach and I would actually enjoy it,
Right.
That's a secret. I would actually enjoy it. But sometimes I'll go to the beach because, I give a little because I know he likes that. And then he might, watch some kind of show that I like that he doesn't really like for, just to give a little. So that's how I see compromise. Give a little, get a little. It's mutual. Healthy relationships are usually mutual. It's mutually satisfying. It's
I like
mutually
that.
given. It's not a one-way street. The moment you feel like you're
Yes.
tired and exhausted and you're giving too much, that is a really good sign that you need to hold up a bit and do some work.
Right.
Yeah,
Y'all need
and
to
settling
hashtag
is not
that
healthy.
healthy relationships are mutual because I think that was just like kapow.
Ah, yes. Healthy relationships are mutual. Yes, indeed, it is mutual. It's both. And if you think about it, if you're pouring into somebody and then pouring back into you, then you could both be filled. But if you're just pouring, 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 and the person just taking, 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 that's really draining, and it's not healthy, really.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
healthy.
So you think the foundation of really that romantic type of relationship is purpose. So how did you know that your husband's purpose was kind of in line with your purpose or where you saw
Mm,
yourself going and that kind of thing? Because for some of our viewers, we hear you, we understand, yes, it's really about purpose first, but then how
mm,
can I identify, okay, is this person really going the same place I am going? How can I
yeah.
project? Because of course we're both pursuing something, but how do we know if it actually goes together or if it actually meshes?
That is an excellent question. You're so great with these questions. My goodness. Um, Reflecting on it now, it's so weird. Reflecting on it now, what I, it's a process. You know how when you ask people, how do you know it? How did you know it was the one? And they will tell you just no, kind of like that.
I just
I try not to
knew.
be
I
that
just
person.
knew.
Yeah, I hate to be that person. I
Please
really hate
don't
to
be
be
that
that person.
person.
No, I try to really be more, practical and, really step by step. So it is a process. I could tell reflecting now because I used to journal. I used to prayer journal. So um, reflecting, I was starting to discover my purpose. So I knew that I liked to teach. I knew that I liked relationships a lot and family and reading about that. So I noticed where I was leaning towards. So you really need to work on yourself. You really need to
Yes, I
understand
like
who you
that.
are and what you're leaning towards. You
Yeah.
spend
Type
that
that
time
down
to
below,
realize,
guys. Work on
yeah.
yourself.
Yes, yes, that is part of the process. As you get to know what your likes and dislikes are, and you look at that through the different relationships that you have, your siblings, your parents, and your classmates, your friends, you
Mm,
see what type of personalities you tend to lean towards. Do you like funny
mm,
people? Do you like people? Are you a service-oriented person? Do you like to go and do soup kitchens? Do you tend to lean towards those type of things? Those are the things you want to be very clear about, and that's what I help people with too, because it's important for you to be clear on the things that you lean towards,
Wow.
trying
Girl,
to
that
attract
was
that
just like
person.
ding, like the light bulb is going off over here. Because, these are
Yeah.
things that we overlook. So I need to look at my relationships now, look at the things that I like, why am I leaning to certain people, what do I like about
Mhm.
that relationship so that I can
Mhm.
understand what I really want out of a relationship. Girl, that was good.
Exactly.
Girl, that was good.
Exactly.
That was so
Yeah,
good.
and that is why it is important for us to have girlfriends. You know how some women and even men, they may struggle. Well, I think it's more so women struggle with female relationships. And that could be a red flag for later down. You really want to be able to, even in your female relationships, see who you lean towards, what type of personalities you lean towards. Do you
Mm,
like the laid back people? Do you like the structured people? All of those things you're looking at. And then you also, I love assessments. Some people don't, but I tend to love assessments because it helps to put language to what I experienced. And sometimes I just didn't know the language
mm,
existed. So, for example, there's this thing, 16 personalities. You could Google 16 personalities, and it's based on Myers-Briggs. And that really helped me to understand a bit more and to put language to some of the experiences I had, like knowing
my
that I'm an empath.
goodness,
I'm
that
very
was
empathetic,
great.
and
Yes.
I'm a learner. I didn't even realize that me Googling all the time, there was a language to it. I'm a learner. I love to just grab information. And there's also there's this thing, the strength finder, and finding out what your
I
top five
love Strength
strengths are.
Finder.
Yes, amazing, right? And those different things, as you work on yourself, you get a clearer understanding of who compliments you and who you could compliment. Because again, it's a two-way street. So when he came
Mutual,
around,
right.
yes. So when he came around and I'm talking about certain things and he is on the same page, I was like, this feels weird. What is going on here? you know, it's like, okay. And he would also say that he worked a lot on himself before he met me. So,
Mm,
we both had failed relationships before, and just through those experiences, reflecting and seeing what you didn't want anymore and what you like. And, some things were even refined as we met each other because I changed some of my things that I thought were so specific and all that. And, but so there was a
So are
refining
you
even in
saying to
that
me that you
relationship.
got flexible with the list after you met him? Because every woman has like the list. He has to be six
Yeah,
foot whatever. He has to be light skinned. He has to have curly hair or whatever it is.
yeah,
So you're
yeah.
saying that you were flexible with the list.
I was flexible with the list. That is actually, I was trying to hide from that, but yeah, that's true. I was. You know,
Hey,
you know
Nikki.
what's funny though? You know what's funny though? So on my list, just to be transparent, I wanted the person to be tall. And I had friends who would laugh at me and say, "No, you would end up with someone short. You're so superficial, blah, blah, blah." But you know what? God gave me a tall man and I thank him for it. You
Yeah,
understand? You could,
Jesus.
yeah. He also looks at the things that you are attracted to because you have to be
Yes.
attracted to the person.
Yes.
So don't settle and be with somebody you're not attracted to, but your list could vary. You could be flexible. But as I tell people, you see your core values, those are the things that you don't really want to flex because that is what could create
On.
issues in your marriage. I mean, things like,
Mm.
does he dress well? I mean, you could change how some, not that you're going in to change people, but
You
a
can
dress code could
influence it.
change people.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could influence that. If the person isn't maybe vegetarian just yet, you could influence it by the meals you prepare. There are things that I like that word that you use. There are things that you could influence, and then there are other
Yeah.
things that are so ingrained in us because of belief and all that
Right. Core
makes things a bit
values.
difficult. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So as we on that note, right? This next question is just spiraling in my head because some
Yes.
women get into relationships, they see red flags, but then they think they can change things like, oh, he will change once he's with me. I will, be able to make him change. Let's just talk about that. Make him change or make her change kind of belief that some people have that causes them to settle.
Yeah, that I would not encourage people to that make him change me. I tell people, um, you see how you see this person today? Make sure that you could live with this person for the rest of your life. Like, think about it as this person may never change, and this annoying habit that they have will continue on, and you need to live with this. Yeah, I mean, it could change. It could change, but think about it as if you get into marriage and you see it over and over, it could even affect you more, as in you could get even more irritated and frustrated by the situation. Now, I'm not
Mm,
saying I don't really talk about compatibility and chemistry. I think it's more than that. I think anybody could really work if you're committed, but you really don't want to go into a relationship thinking that you could change someone. It's not gonna well, on average, generally doesn't end well for you. You might be
mm,
miserable or you might need to terminate the relationship. So no, if you can't live with it now and you're not living together or you're not in that committed space, then don't think you're going into it to change anybody. You'll actually end up
right.
very frustrated. Yeah.
Right. So let's take it up a bit, right? So that's
Hmm.
styling our life in terms of romantic relationships. How do we
Hmm.
style our life in general in terms of the
Hmm.
relationships that we have? Because I hear some people saying, they don't keep friends, or I'm not good with females, or I'm not good with males, or I only have male friends, and this kind of thing. So in terms of me being successful and really having a good quality of life, how do you say that I can style my life with
Hmm.
relationships?
Yeah, when you live in a purposeful life or a purpose-driven life, relationships is like a foundation. It's so important. It's
Yes.
integral because we're not islands. We're not here on our own. And if we really truly dissect purpose, it's about living and impacting and infecting other
Others,
people,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So we don't live in a bubble. In terms of people not having great relations with female friends and all that, that might have happened. In high school, you probably had people not, females not drawing to you, or you had bad situations with females, and you had better situations with males. So, you could deal better with one sex over the other. I would just look at the fact that are you able to have friends at all? Are you able to keep friends? Are you a friend to people? Are you able to trust? Because again, we go back to the foundation of trust. If you having a hard time with a relationship with anybody, your family, males, females, whatever, I really want you to reflect on, are you able to trust people? Did you have some sort of
Mm,
relationship injury that prevents you from trusting? Because trust me, if you're going into your purpose, you need to trust people. You need to trust God.
yes.
You need to trust yourself to some degree that, you could bounce back up if you fail. And you
Yes.
would need to trust other people because you need to trust that when you're working with your clients that they're honest and they can change. You need to trust the process. So that foundation of relationships is so key in living out your purpose and helping people and even being your true self. It's so integral. It's such a foundation.
And one of the things that we tend to do, I love the language that you use talking about relationship injury, because we tend to judge everyone else based on our past experience. So if one male or one female did this, then that becomes our reality. We hold on to that experience because we have been
Mhm.
injured, as you rightly said.
Right.
And then now everyone is judged by this same framework. So how would you suggest? I know you have the forgiveness challenge going on right now. And
Yes.
how would you suggest that I kind of rewire my life in terms of those relationship injuries? That I kind of come back to a place where I can trust again, I can have healthy relationships, and I can style my life.
Yes, and I will recommend that you reach out to someone, if it's a mentor, if it's a pastor, if it's a coach, if it's a therapist. You would want to work with someone else to help them. So through that process, that relationship that you're building with this mentor, pastor, or therapist, you're able to discover or recognize what are some of the challenges that you may be having. Because with the clients that I work with sometimes, when I reflect to them what I'm experiencing, they're sometimes shocked, like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that, I didn't realize one, you
Yes.
could pick it up or that was even there. So I would say reach out to somebody. And if you recognize, those people who always have haters, they're always posting on Facebook about haters, the life is
I'm
hard,
like,
that kind
come
of thing.
on. I
Yeah,
think we
to
should
me,
move
those,
past that. I'm like, we're
to me,
living, it's gonna happen. There are people who are not gonna like
mm,
you. There are people who are gonna
mm-hmm,
copy you. There are people who are gonna, you're gonna have that friction with. I mean, I feel we should
mm-hmm.
really move past, but some people are just not past.
They're
They're holding
stuck.
on to that, yeah,
They're
that
stuck.
relationship
They're
injury.
stuck.
I love that whole
Yeah.
term
Mhm.
that you
Mhm. Mhm.
spoke about, and we
Mhm.
really need to go through that process of
Yeah.
really sharing their heart with someone else who can
Yes.
reflect what is coming out of them. So I love that. So if we want to get into your forgiveness challenge, or if we want to be a
Mhm.
part of this whole process, I want you to tell the viewers, well, how they can subscribe or be a part of this process. If I realize, hey, I really suck at having healthy relationships, I'm not going anywhere because of how my attitude is, or past
Yeah.
experiences, etc. How can I really become a part of this whole challenge or movement, etc.?
Nice. So I will drop a link in the group so that persons could
Okay.
access the to subscribe to the forgiveness challenge, and you could also follow me on Instagram. It's at Dr. Crystal Benji. So at DrCrystalBenjie. So I'll also post that so persons can see that handle. And Dr. Crystal Benjamin, relationship educator and coach on Facebook. So you could follow me, and I'll also leave a link in the group so that you can have access to that thing. Because just from the start, and this is the second time I'm doing it, from the start of the forgiveness challenge, you could already see the shift in persons, and they're it's kind of like they're forced to go to a place that they sometimes ignore, but it's so present in their everyday life. Even though you're not consciously thinking about this relationship injury you had, it affects how you live your life. It keeps you
Mm,
stuck from progressing. It keeps you stuck from really living out your purpose and being the best person that you could be. It leaves you bitter. It clouds
yes.
your mind. It clouds your judgment. So the time that you should be taking to plan programs or pushing out products, you're here thinking about the haters, right? And it's really a time waster. It's the truth. It's such a time waster when you reflect on how much time you spend um on that negativity, and it doesn't carry you anywhere. It actually is not healthy for you physically either. And so I know I struggle with forgiveness, and quite a few persons. So we really want to go through that process, learning what forgiveness is and the difference between forgiveness and forgetting. And because some people think you need to forget the thing ever happened and all that. So we would really talk about these things and really get to a place where, because it's a choice to forgive. And no matter
Yeah.
what the person did to you, it's being able to forgive and learn from that experience so that it wouldn't happen to you again, or that you would grow from it. Or on a more facetious side, you could make money from it. Really,
Yeah, write
you
your
could do a
story.
self-help book, write a story, and make money from that, because you're not alone. There are other people like you who had that
Experiencing the
experience,
same
and you can
thing.
monetize that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are the three tips that you will leave with our viewers as we wrap up to really encourage healthy relationships across the board? Any three tips that you think, would really help us style our life better with
Wow.
relationships?
Wow. Yeah, nice. So the first tip would be to work on yourself. And I'm talking about the inside of yourself. It's great to look great, and I recommend that for sure. but you want to work on the inside. Know who you are, what your personality is like, what your likes are, what are you drawn to, where do you get energy, So number one, really get to know who you are. Number two, you be very cautious about the people that you allow into your space. Boundaries are very
Mm.
important in terms of healthy relationships. So you be very cautious and don't allow persons to overstep. When you set those boundaries, don't allow persons to overstep your boundaries. So two is to be very cautious about who you allow into your space. And number three, trust. Be vulnerable with the person who deserves to enter your space. Be vulnerable, trust
Mm.
them, trust the process, and know that every day might not be great. You may have conflict, but at the end of the day, those conflicts are actually a miracle because it helps you to push you from one stage of a relationship to the next if you use it to your benefit, if you use it to your advantage. So my top three: one, know who
Wow.
you are. Two, be cautious about who you allow into your space. And number three, be vulnerable. Trust the right persons.
Wow. This has been incredible. I mean, I think my relationship quotient, if there's such a thing, just went up because you have shared so much insight. And I keep remembering that you said for relationships to be healthy, it has to be mutual. So I
Mhm.
thank you so much for joining me today on Saturday Life. I thank you so much for sharing your expertise in terms of relationship. I know a lot of people are going to be reaching out because I mean, it's
Yes.
a topic that we all sometimes struggle with. So
Yeah.
it's good to know that there are people living their purpose like you, doing what we need so that we can reach
Mhm.
out and we can have a better quality life.
Yes, yes, and I really appreciate the platform to speak about my passion. I'm very passionate about this, and I'm excited about helping others and really seeing us one relationship at a time building our community. So thank you, and thanks to everyone
Yes.
for the hearts and the comments. It was very encouraging.
Yes, thank you guys for leaving your comments. And of course, if you have any questions for Crystal, you can put them in the comments. She would respond. Share the video out. I mean, relationship is something that everyone needs help with. So don't be selfish and think, okay, I don't want to share it. I need you to share this out so that someone could really have a quality life and a quality experience. Again, my name is Crisha Sarah Bowen, also known as the Giant Slayer, and I encourage you to push past pain, even relationship pain, and passionately pursue purpose. Thanks so much, Crystal. Take care. Bye bye.